So you knew that was going to come out the woodworks. It happens all the time when one of them come out and file a civil suit. Here come the rest of them. So Shannon Sharpe, it ain't over with, brother. It's not over with in the least bit. Let's go to yahoo.com by way of where is the buzz. And look at this. It says Shannon Sharp's explosive legal defense on Michelle Evans. She tried to off her husband to be with him. So a second lady has came out and filed a civil suit against old Uncle Shay Shay. Didn't we tell you it was going to happen? I believe we told you it was going to happen. But let's go ahead and do some reading, y'all. Former NFL star and sports media personality Shannon Sharpe has formally responded to recent allegations involving two women with whom he has past connections. Uncle Shay Shay's first problem is he talks too much. I'm not sure who his lawyer is or how good or great his lawyer is, but I have never seen a lawyer tell his client to get out there and open his mouth when there are lawsuits faced against him. Did it, didn't do it. Did it, what happened? Did it pay Cassie? And what happened the moment he paid Cassie and it was public and everybody said, oh man, that's the worst move you can do because now everybody's coming out the woodworks and sure enough, everybody and their mama start filing civil suits against Diddy. Some of them might be frivolous, some not so much, but you can't tell at this point, and it doesn't even matter because people, what they say, they just throw it in the ceiling and see what'll stick, right? So anybody tell you, hell, you ain't even gotta have a lawyer. And folks will tell you, hell, even your own mama will tell you that, you don't say anything. When people got something to say against you, don't say a word. Chris Brown didn't say nothing when that girl tried to say that he assaulted her and tried to do dastardly things to her. And he came out, didn't say nothing. He just put the text messages out and kept it moving. Even a situation with Rihanna, he really didn't say too much about that, but everybody knew, that she was probably the ones who put hands on him first, and he, overreacted, I would say. But they try to make it seem like she was the victim, but no. But anyway, most time, like I say, most dudes ain't gonna say too much. So I think, like I say, I think Shay Shay is like stuck in his teens, and I said that in the past video. But anyway, let's keep going. Uh, in a detailed legal statement issued by his attorney, Mitchell Schuster, Sharp categorically denies any wrongdoing and asserts that he is the victim of false accusations, character assassination, and an attempted extortion scheme. Yes, you are being you are the victim of an attempted extortion scheme. I will say, and maybe false accusations too. But bro, you put yourself in a situation. Sharp, who has become a staple of sports commentary in recent years, temporarily stepped away from his ESPN duties to focus on the legal battle and to support his family. He intends to return to the network in time for the upcoming NFL season. Funny how he never talks about his family. Well, I ain't gonna say never because I don't watch Club Shay Shay that much or his podcast with Ocho Cinco. But I haven't seen him publicly talk a whole lot about his family. I've seen his daughters before a couple of times, but it's always funny how when people get in these kind of binds, the first thing they want to do is spend time with family. Have you been spending time with your family? When you're doing your podcast, you should say, okay, now I'm getting off of here. I'm finna go spend time with my family. You only say that when something bad happens. Kind of like they're saying, I'm gonna go get closer to God and go to church once I go to prison and become a Muslim. According to the statement released by Sharp's litigation counsel, the accusations stem from two separate individuals: Michelle Evans, who filed a civil complaint against Sharp without legal representation, and Gabby Zuniga, who allegedly attempted to extort Sharp following a counsel relationship. I'm quite sure this Michelle Evans, if she hasn't, if it hasn't happened already, there will probably be communication between her and Gabby Zuniga's lawyer. What's that dude? I can't think of it. I'm sure it's down here because he's been in a lot of these lawsuits lately. Anyway, so I'm quite sure she will not be without counsel for very long. The statement frames both cases as examples of a troubling pattern where public figures are targeted by individuals seeking attention or financial gain. It should be a no quote. It should be a no surprise that when someone famous is in the news, all sorts of people crawl out of the woodwork to share the connection to that person and attempt to profit from that alleged relationship, wrote Schuster. In many cases, those stories or accusations are nothing more than old news, fanciful exaggerations, or sometimes blatant misrepresentation of facts. The first portion of the legal statement addresses renewed attention to claims made by Michelle Evans. Wasn't the lady in that Instagram uh, video where Shannon Sharpe said he didn't know how he got on Instagram Live? And I didn't know until today how you get on Instagram Live. And it's like 3 or 4 steps that you have to go through in order to get on Instagram Live. But anyway, wasn't her name Michelle? Maybe he got a thing for Michelle's. No, he got a thing for snow bunnies for sure. As the first portion of this information was Sharp described as a baseless, Sharp's team describes as baseless and harmful. Schuster contends that Evans once became fixated on Sharp and later attempted to pursue legal action against him despite having no legal basis or support. Sadly, Ms. Evans became obsessed with Shannon and decided to manufacture a claim against him, Schuster said. When she couldn't find a lawyer to pursue her outrageous story, she filed a civil complaint on her own that's completely devoid of merit. Like I said, I'm sure she will not go too long without some kind of counsel. And yeah, did you hear the other story where they said that back in the day he had to pay a co-worker some money because he choked her, but then they said they would just like, play fighting or something like that, but he still had to pay. Boy, when they smoked their fire, they say. Sharp's legal team also disclosed that Evans has a serious criminal history. The fact that Shannon has no contact with this person for many years, and it is our understanding she is still on probation after serving 3 years in prison for trying to delete her husband so that she could hopefully pursue a relationship with Shannon. What, dude? What kind of women are you dealing with? I don't know what Shannon is doing. But you got women wanting that, what they call it, that baby gravy, and want that big black baby. Want you to put a big black baby in them. Shannon, oh man, okay, I get it, brother doing something. But man, she tried. Okay, this man. The second portion of the legal statement focuses on more recent allegations from Gabby Zuniga, who has also gone by the name Carly. According to Sharp's attorney, the two were involved in a consensual sexual relationship for approximately 2 years. The relationship reportedly ended after Sharp declined to have a child with Zuniga. That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. Because remember, she sent those texts. He showed text messages where she was kept pushing the point of having his big black baby, him putting that baby gravy in her. He better, be wanting her, her flatbacks, her $50,000 flatbacks for life because once he put that baby in her. And I said, any dude with sense, when a woman is talking like that, the first thing he should have done, especially a dude like that with that kind of money, is cut her off, get away from her, act like she don't exist, change the number, get your track phone, and keep it moving. Unless it's possible that he cannot have children. Maybe he's clipped, maybe he's sterile, whatever the case, it may be that he can't have children. So when she talks like that, he's like, I'm just gonna go roll with the punches because I'm gonna keep having my fun. She thinks we're gonna have some children, but I can't have no children. So it's like, shoot, just keep on talking and I'm just gonna keep playing the game. That's what I was thinking, that one of the options that may be going on. But and this might looks like it's stemming that way, that he talking about he ain't trying to have no baby. And so now she pissed. And then he went and made that video with Michelle on Instagram. And now she's pissed. Let's see, quote, let's see. When she learned that he would not father a child with her, she resorted to extortion, said Schuster. The legal team claims that Zuniga threatened to publicly expose intimate details of their relationship unless she receives a financial statement. And the dude tried to give her 10 mil and she was like, that's not enough. But that's what a lawyer do. A lawyer go like to an extreme and say, no, we won't fit. And then they'll be like, okay, no, we want to give you two or three. Okay, let's try to meet somewhere in the middle. But this became public. While Shannon was willing to pay her a substantial amount of money to avoid the intimate details of his personal life from being exposed, as many high profile individuals often do when they are being threatened, that is no longer the case, Houston stated. This is a shakedown, pure and simple, and we have the evidence to prove it. This woman's 21, 22 years old, and she's after that bread. I mean, she does OnlyFans, so to let you know she'll do anything. She'll do something strange for a piece of change. We already know that. I mean, it says online prostitution. Let's just be honest. With that being said, if she had an accountant and she got that 10 mil, could have used that 10 mil to live for the rest of her life. But she greedy. Her lawyer's greedy. And they're trying to break him for everything. And you know, women can be vindictive and scornful and pissed off, and they want to take everything that you got because you hurt their feelings, and they want you to feel it for life because with them being emotional creatures, they're going to feel it for life. Damn, that's cold blooded. There are certainly real victims of assault whose stories deserve to be told. Gabby is not one of them, and her attempt to extort Shannon with her false claims only serves to distract from the attention that the real abuses of victims deserve. Sharpe's legal strategy, according to the statement, including filing claims against Zuniga and others who assisted her in spreading her story. He plans to defend himself using documentary proof and real evidence and intends to pursue full accountability through the courts. Quote, he intends to pursue claims that against Gabby and all who have assisted her with the dissemination of her fabricated story, Schuster wrote. Shannon looks forward to his day in court where he can hold Gabby and all who are working in concert with her accountable for the opportunists that they are. I feel like this. If she's lying and they can prove that she's lying, yeah, he should sue her for whatever. Yeah, say he's suing her for $50 million, and you might think, oh, he's not gonna get no money from her. That's not the point. The point is, I'm gonna sue her, destroy her life like she tried to destroy our life. Make an example, because somebody got to make an example out of these lying heifers. Make an example out of her so the next person who tries to do this and is not a victim, you're gonna get the same fate. That's why I feel men need to start stepping up more and defending themselves and protecting their honor. Like seriously. And this is probably like, what they call the spark that lit the flame. In response to speculation regarding Sharp's recent absence from ESPN programming, the statement clarified that he was not terminated or placed on leave. Instead, he decided to step away voluntarily. For the avoidance of any doubt, Shannon Sharpe was not terminated by ESPN, Schuster explained. He has elected to step away for a temporary time from his duties so that he can focus on his family and the frivolous claim filed against him. ESPN agreed with his decision, and Shannon plans to return to his role at ESPN for the NFL season. We'll see. Hopefully, this thing could go away by then and he can be up out of there. What did it say? Full statement from Mitchell Schuster, litigation counsel to Shannon Sharpe. Let's see if we read some of this. It should be a no surprise to women that when someone famous is in the news, all sorts of people crawl out. Okay, we already read that part. Fam, so they are shared on social media or fed to reporters with intentional, factual omissions and no regard for the truth. This is obviously purposeful, designed to create a fabricated narrative. That is exactly what is happening to Shannon Sharpe, and the resurrection of a case involving Michelle Evans is a perfect example. Sadly, Miss Evans became obsessed with Shannon and decided to manufacture a claim against him. When she could not find a lawyer to pursue the outrageous story, she filed a civil complaint on her own that is completely devoid of merit. The fact is that Shannon has had no contact with this person for many years, and it is our understanding that she still is still on probation after serving 3 years in prison for trying to delete her husband so that she could hopefully pursue a relationship with Shannon. So now, for those of y'all who think them not being in contact for years means anything, you're sadly mistaken. I read this and I look at that funny looking lady, and I think of Bill Cosby and that one woman who looked about as toe up, dope fiendish of them all, and she won her case against Bill Cosby. And you look at her, it's like there's no way in the world. But I mean, we may be talking 30 years later, but my gosh, she looked like she lived a hard life, and she won a case. Well, to the point, and then they dismissed all that because it should never went to trial anyway. But they wanted to get old Dr. Cosby, and they got him for a little while. So same thing can happen to Shannon here. So y'all be careful. Following in Mrs. Evans' footsteps, Gabby, aka Carly, is the latest person trying to explore her connection with Shannon. From the onset, Shannon has been crystal clear about the nature of his relationship with Gabby Zuniga. For the sake of clarity, please allow me to repeat his position. Shannon and Gabby engaged in a consensual sexual relationship over a 2-year period. When she learned that he would not father a child with her, she resorted to extortion. See, here's the thing. When you're dealing with somebody that young and you the age of Shannon Sharpe, and I'm not condoning none of this, you know what I'm saying? I'm the one to say, hey, get you a solid relationship with somebody and stick with that person, somebody that you can actually relate to you. If you're gonna be in a relationship with someone, get with somebody that can relate to you, someone you can talk to, someone you have something in common with besides just cake clapping. And when you're like 30 years apart, that's pretty much all the two of you can you know, have in common. So what you should do, like I said, not have a relationship is one, it should be like one of those, when I come in town, I'm gonna come see you type thing. Other than that, beyond that, there's nothing else. There's nothing else because the way she trying to make it seem like they was like had a whole relationship, and she got to the point of where she thought she should have a child with the man. He was like, "We ain't having no babies," and so she got pissed. But women to do that, women to feel like, especially if they think something, they think you knocking down somebody else. Dudes will do it too. I'm gonna tell you, like it's a power. Something about them babies, man, make people think that them kids put them in control of the other person. I went to like nursing school with some females, and it seemed like when they got close to graduation or when they first got their job, every last one of them got pregnant. You know why? Because the majority of them dudes are insecure. Period, point blank. Either insecure or it's like, I don't know, it's a celebration, or maybe okay, we're making more money, so now we can have kids. But all it's gonna do is keep your lady from, I guess, working or whatever, or whatever the case may be. But a lot of times it's a dude's, you know, control over that woman, trying to keep her grounded. And on the other end, a woman will sit there and try to have a baby by a guy, thinking that it's gonna keep him, make him act right. But it doesn't work that way. So I'm not really understanding why babies, I don't know. I don't know. I psychologically just throws me off. It says, where we at? While Shannon was willing to pay her a substantial amount of money to avoid the intimate details of his personal life from being exposed, as many high profile individuals often do when they're being threatened, that is no longer the case. This is a shakedown, pure and simple, and we have the evidence to prove it. And while there are certainly real victims of sexual assault whose stories deserve to be told, Gabby is not one of them, and her attempt to extort Shannon with her false claims only serves to distract from the attention that real abuse victims deserve. Bottom line, Shannon has done nothing wrong and intends to fight back against these malicious lies, not with manufactured defenses or imaginary stories, but with documentary proof and real evidence. To say he's done nothing wrong, uh, it depends on how you look at it and where you're coming from. Because I mean, yeah, him doing something wrong, as in like this is not his woman. This is somebody who's young enough to be his probably granddaughter, and he having a relationship with her. Morally, that is wrong. But they're two consensuals. Um, Shannon should be a little more smarter than that. A little more smarter than that. Uh, should have handled her a little differently. I don't really want to get into too many details, but yeah, he should have handled her a little differently than the way he did, and he wouldn't be in this predicament. He intends to pursue claims against Gabby and all those who have assisted with her with the dissemination of her fabricated story. Shannon looks forward to the day in court where he can hold Gabby and all who are working in concert with her accountable for the opportunists that they are. For the avoidance of any doubt, Shannon Sharpe was not terminated. Oh, this is pretty much everything that was said earlier. Okay, at this time, no criminal charges have been filed in connection with the claims by either Evans or Zuniga. Sharp's legal team is preparing for court proceedings and has indicated they will introduce physical evidence to support their position. That's the thing. The lawyer of Zuniga, what is that man name? I cannot think of his name for nothing right now. I just thought about it a while ago. But anyway, he's the lawyer for that when the young, like a bunch of people, like a dozen women who done sued Diddy, who filed lawsuits against Diddy after, he went to jail. What I'm saying? He tried, he's supposed to be representing a lot of women there. Deshaun Watson, when all those ladies sued him, filed suits against him at those massage parlors. I think he represented the majority of them, and like the majority of them got like they got settlements. So now he's just continuing. He knows if he put the Zuniga lady out there, file a lawsuit with her and get her out there in public, he knows there's a good possibility that a bunch of other women are going to file suits or have claims, and he's probably hoping to represent them so he can get that bread too. So that's his game. And my thing is, I think is if Shannon Sharpe got the evidence, then that's great. That's one thing you got to do. You either got to have those NDAs or you got to have the evidence to where that if somebody did try to come after you or sue you or blame you for something, that you got what you need to beat the case or to win your case. Because if not, it's a big problem. So here's the thing: you look at somebody like Jerry Jones, right? Man's a billionaire. This cat walking around with a flip phone. And people tried to clown him because he got a flip phone. But everybody know, hey, well, Jerry Jones had an illegitimate child out there who came out, last year or so and wanted him to take a paternity test, but they settled before they even took the test. Everybody know Jerry Jones. Man, I'm just going to say that. Everybody know Jerry Jones be out there. We've seen pictures of him. We've heard stories of him. Old dude, he's out there or been out there, what have you. But the one thing you've never heard, only way you hear about Jerry Jones is if somebody took a picture of him, or like I say, this child of his came out and tried to file a lawsuit to get money from him. That's the only way you're gonna hear about it. And I bring up Jerry Jones because he's local, he's Dallas, and these are stories that everybody heard and know about. What I'm saying? There's a lot more stories out there, but my point is, I mean, the man knows how. I mean, he know how to handle those type of things. Shannon Sharpe does not know how to handle those type of things for whatever. He hasn't talked to the right people who said, hey, but anyway, he has talked to the right people because Monique and Cat Williams and his homeboy Ocho Cinco out in public told him he need to find him a good woman to settle down with because he's famous. Now he's getting, he's making that money. He needs to stay out them streets. But he knew better. He thought he was gonna be that different Negro. Wasn't gonna fall into the trap like the rest of them have and get caught like the rest of them have. No, it didn't help. What was I'm thinking about? I don't know why Herschel Walker came to mind. Yeah, he went to that same thing with a young gal not too long ago in college or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And Herschel Walker was in his 40s or 50s or something, like 50s. Same thing, dealing with them bunnies. You know what I'm saying? They play for keeps. They play for keeps. It's like Mace said, you know what I'm saying? If you got a sister like that, man, you might have to pay some child support, buy some clothes, some hair, some nails, maybe get a little apartment or whatever, a little nice car. And she be, everybody be none the wiser. But when it comes to them other folk, look at Elon Musk. Elon Musk got all these babies out there, and this one lady, she, somehow put it out there like she wanted the world to know that this is his child because she wanted more money than what he was willing to give her. And Elon Musk was trying to get Elon Musk was giving out money, and he said he ain't had to take a paternity test. It is what it is. It's my baby, okay, whatever. But these are the rules you got to follow, and they still want more. So I mean, yeah, Shannon, uh, you got to do better. You got to do better. You got to move better. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story, man. Leave your comments below. Share it with the world. Let's have an intelligent conversation. Uh, I have really no sympathy or empathy for this brother. I'm all for the brothers and sisters always. But when you do things that you know, and I know he's from the South, he's from Savannah, Georgia, whatever. So I'm sure his mama, his grandmama, his sisters, aunties, all told him who and who not to mess with. I think he's trying to go back to his high school years and school days when this is something that he probably couldn't have because of where he lived, but now he can have it and he's gonna go out there and get it. But it's gonna catch him up, and it done caught him up, and there's no telling. So it might mess up his money. Now it might not mess up his podcast money too much because that's like a independent entity. But with the ESPN, yeah, it's quite possible that it might mess up his bread there. But anyway, like I said, tell me what you think about the story. Leave your comments below. Share it with the world. Have intelligent conversation. If you'd like to support the channel, you can give super thanks, super chat, super stickers, or you can go to the description box or links that you can click on and help support us that way. But if you like something tangible for your dollars, which a lot of people do, you can go to marlonmorale.com, hit our Shopify store. Both links are in the description box, or you can just hit that shop button below this video and check out all our luxury products. Where we have fragrances, we got silk products, we got beard products, handbags, and much more. Check it out. You'll not be disappointed. And with that being said, I'll leave you in peace, and I'll see you on the other side.